So welcome back to today's video. In today's video we are going to be going over probably my most anticipated video of the year, and I know you guys have been wanting to see this and it's finally happening. And for those of you who are out of the loop, a couple months ago I posted a video about your favorite content creators sharing their favorite VR memory. Everybody who watched it seemed to have loved it, and so that really gave me the inspiration and courage to do another one. So here it is, the part 2 to that video. Let's get into it. It's the same structure as last time, where the first person is going to have the least amount of subs and the last person on today's list is going to have the most amount of subscribers, and I'm going to be sharing my memory at the very end of this video. So if you're interested, be sure to stay tuned for that. So the first person on today's list is RoboticVR. RoboticVR primarily posts content about GamerReality VR, but his clip today is recorded about Rec Room. So I don't want to spoil it for you guys, so I'm just going to let him describe it.
Hey VRC, so my favorite moment in VR has got to be my first time opening up Rec Room, enjoying my first game, because everyone else there was new, and if they weren't new, they were super helpful and answering all the new VR players' questions. And it was just super nice to be in a lobby with the nicest kids. But yeah, thank you.
Alright, thank you so much, Robotic, for submitting your clip, and I 100% agree. But with that said, let's move on to the next person. The next content creator on today's list is none other than LipNox VR, which as of right now, recording this video, is just under 2,000 subscribers. So real quick before we get into his clip, all these channels listed in today's video, we'll have the link down in the description for you to check out. So go show them some love and subscribe, because they did put a great amount of work into helping me with this video. But without further ado, let's get right into his clip.
Hello everyone, LipNox VR here, and a huge thank you to Virtual Reality Check. He's invited me on to say my favorite memory in VR. And I think it's gonna have to be when I first put on the PlayStation VR and I experienced the kitchen demo and saw my arms in front of me, and I'm just like, you're holding the controller and you see your arms and you get that tingle on the back of your neck, and that really sold me on VR. I mean, the PSVR was extremely comfortable to put on, but when you saw your arms, you were like, I'm here, I'm in VR, and that is amazing. I love that. Thank you for having me on here.
Alright, thank you so much, LipNox VR, for submitting your clip. I can only imagine how terrified I would have been, especially that being my first VR experience. My first VR experience, like I said in the beginning of the video, was Face Fears 1, and that was already scary enough. So next up on today's list is Killerrex, which again is just under 2,000 subscribers, 1,930 subscribers at the time of recording this video, and his favorite memory involves Five Nights at Freddy's VR Help Wanted.
Hey VRC, so my favourite memory in VR has to be when I first got into Five Nights at Freddy's VR, and because it was one of my first times in VR, so I didn't know how scary it was going to be, and I literally fell over after getting jump scared. Here's the footage. And so after that, I was afraid to play it, so I got my friend to do some of the levels, and he was pretty good at it, and he beat one of the levels, and I was like, oh, you know what, I'm going to take over, and I'm going to take his reward that he earned, and it was a jump scare, and I have the screenshot here to prove it. That was karma.
Thank you, Killerrex, for submitting your clip. I can imagine how scary that must have been for a first time VR experience, playing Five Nights at Freddy's, and not only to get jump scared once, but twice. The second time being a bit of karma. Thank you again, and let's move on to the next person on today's list, which is Dec Dec VR, which is just under 4,000 subscribers. Actually, at the time of recording this video, it is 3,180 subscribers, and his video is also recorded in a Rec Room. Now, I do have to give you guys a bit of a warning. Due to some exporting issues that Dec Dec had, he wasn't able to get rid of an echo that is prominent in the video. Hopefully that doesn't distract you guys from the story. So without further ado, let's get right into his clip.
Hey VRC, so one of my favorite moments in VR is at a event that was held in the game Rec Room, which I'm playing right now, called Recon. I went there for like 4 hours a day when it was on anyway, and some of my favorite moments is when I was meeting a lot of people, and people like listening to me and sitting down and talking and having fun with all of them, and like going other places with them and exploring. One of my favorite moments inside of VR.
Thank you again, Dec Dec, for participating in today's video. Your editing and your recording and all the hard work that you put into that clip is greatly appreciated. So the next person on today's list is Shynee. Not Shynee as in squeaky shiny, but Shynee. And he's currently sitting at around 5,000 subscribers. And his favorite VR memory is recorded about Pavlov. So without further ado, let's get right into his clip.
Hey VRC, my favorite memory from VR is playing the old Pavlov on the Quest. I'm talking like Alpha 7 here, when nobody knew what they was doing, and it was all just nice, lovely people, which is totally different from Pavlov on Quest now, but it was so awesome. There was only one map, one game mode, but we were just getting into a lobby, and you wouldn't even shoot each other, you just talk, you'd have a great time, and play some crazy games like TTT before it even existed, dude. It was honestly such an amazing time, and it was right when I was getting into VR, and I think that's one of the reasons I really got into VR a lot, because it was just such an awesome community. So, yeah, that's easily my favorite memory from VR, and I'm excited to hear what everyone else says.
Thank you so much, Shynee, for submitting your clip. I personally had never played that mode in Pavlov, but am definitely interested. Again, thank you for your clip, and let's move on to the next person, which is Eyes on VR. Now, Eyes on VR primarily posts game reviews about anything ranging from the Oculus Quest to Steam VR. Now, I do recommend you guys go check him out if you guys are interested in watching reviews for upcoming games, because he's just super good at it, and I watch his videos all the time. And he's currently sitting around 5,410 subscribers, which is a milestone and is incredible. You deserve it, dude. It is super awesome. I'm not going to spoil this one for you guys. I'm going to let him explain everything to you guys. So without further ado, let's roll right into his clip.
Hey VRC, thanks for having me on. For those of you that don't know, my name's Rex, and I have a YouTube channel called Eyes on VR where I cover all things to do with VR. I was asked to come here and talk about my favorite VR memory, and whilst I have a lot, the memory that stands out the most is the first time. I saved up for ages to get my first headset. I knew what game I was going to play. It was going to be Gun Club VR, and oh my goodness. It was everything that I wanted it to be. It's because of that moment that I started this YouTube channel in the first place. I just wanted to tell people how amazing VR is, and VR has not disappointed. Thanks so much for having me on, VRC. I appreciate it a lot. Back to you, mate.
Alright, thank you so much, Eyes on VR, for submitting your clip. Gun Club VR in itself is an amazing VR demo, if you will. It's not something I would consider a full-blown game. For a sort of showcase of what VR guns can be like, this is an excellent standard. And with that said, let's move on to the next person on today's list. So the next person on today's list is GamerReality, sitting at just above 5,000 subscribers, and his favorite memory being not one in particular, but something that he was able to achieve in VR, which is amazing in of itself. So let's roll right into this clip.
Hey, it's GamerReality here. My favorite experience in virtual reality has to be some of the best moments of playing Beat Saber. Ever since I started playing, I was having fun, improving my skills towards mastery. But along the way, I would reach deep flow states in which I can think of new ideas for things like my YouTube channel. It was something that I would think athletes would have to train months or years for in their routine. Also, I never knew what my mind and body were capable of until I started beating every Expert Plus song. Now I'm always looking ahead to the new blocks spawning in and mindlessly slicing the blocks that I've just memorized. It's still crazy to me, and it's been a satisfying journey. That is my favorite experience.
Thank you so much, GamerReality, for submitting your clip. And I can only imagine, I can only ever dream basically of ever achieving that high level of skill and Beat Saber. You know, that's something that for me doesn't seem really achievable, but who knows, one day maybe I'll be able to get there. But again, what an amazing clip, and thank you for your hard work and your willingness to participate in today's video. And with that said, let's go right into another content creator. So the next person on today's list is Yash VR, currently sitting around 10,000 subscribers. Without further ado, let's go right into his video.
Hey VRC, it's Yash VR here, and my favorite moment in my YouTube career, well, would be when I first got recognized in a Rec Room live stream. It's like when I thought I barely did anything, I'm like, okay, let's do like maybe one final live stream or something. And I made a live stream of Rec Room, and one guy joined. He's like, he was subscribed to me ever since I had 200 subscribers, and it was at the time when I had 700. And he was so happy to see me, and it made me happy, bro. I was such a blushing. I loved it. And yeah, that would be I just love that memory, man. It really made me happy. Wanted an autograph, and this was when I used to do Rec Room. So yeah, that's it, man.
Okay, thank you so much, Yash, for submitting your clip. And I remember meeting my first fan in virtual reality, and the reason why I love virtual reality so much is because when you meet somebody, you know, it's not like a two-dimensional screen where you just talk to them and then you have a controllable in-game character. You are embodied into the character and you feel like you're actually sitting right next to them. But again, thank you so much for your clip. Let's move on to the next person, which is the Great Gambino. The Great Gambino has been around since the early days of the Oculus, which I think the first video he did was either the DK2 or the DK1, which was way back before even the Quest 1 or the Rift, the original CV1 was even a thing. So I thought this guy would be a great participant for today's video, and I'll let you guys just listen to his clip real quick.
What's up guys, I'm James from the Great Gambino channel. I've been playing VR since 2013, so I've had many experiences, but for the sake of the video, I'll stick to one. It's a little bit more recent during the holidays. Because of lockdown, we can't really go anywhere, so you know, my family's from New York and I'm living in LA, so it was kind of hard not being able to see people, but I went in Rec Room, and my wife has VR as well, so she joined me, and one of my other buddies that plays VR was in there as well. And we were playing a lot of the holiday Christmas apps. One person in particular, one of the artists, created this one Christmas town, holiday style town, whatever you celebrate. And it was really cool. There was all these little houses and people were building snowmen and doing all sorts of things. And we actually met the creator when we were hanging out in like a holiday sort of restaurant. They were all playing with different props like hot chocolate and candy canes, stuff like that. She invited us into this one doorway that led to the roof or attic of one of the houses, and that was all decked out for Christmas and holidays, and they had the fireplaces and all that. It was really cool. We were laughing and having a good time, and somebody just stopped out of nowhere and started singing A Christmas Carol, and I thought that was really cool, and we were dancing, and it was just a really special moment.
It'll be the perfect ending.
My first name is actually Francis.
That slaps.
Singing the songs we love to sing without a single stop at the fireplace where we watch the chestnuts pop.
Pop. I was with old friends and I met new friends, and for 1 minute it just seemed like I was at a holiday event, and I had almost that holiday spirit where I was really able to enjoy myself for a second, and that was really special because that's the direction I think VR is ultimately going. Now, it's great for video games and it always will be, but it's going to be more powerful as something that's able to connect people socially that cannot be together physically, and I think that's a really powerful thing. Thanks for having me on the video, guys.
Alright, thank you so much, the Great Gambino, for submitting your clip. You guys have may seen him on my channel a few times. Him and I have done a few videos together, and he's a crazy good content creator. And is it me, or is it just like every other content creator on today's list has either featured Rec Room in their favorite memory or specifically about Rec Room VR? Again, thank you, the Great Gambino, for submitting your clip. Let's move on to the next person. Okay, so the next person on today's list is VR Man Cave, sitting at around 12,000 subscribers. Now this guy does the same thing as Ryzen VR, where he does game reviews for the Oculus Quest, Steam VR, and he does gameplays. He's just an all-around awesome content creator. Now I think this clip is very interesting, but I don't want to spoil it for you guys, so I'll just let you guys watch it yourself.
Hey VRC, I'm Andy from VR Man Cave. Listen, VR is about realism, right? About creating the illusion of reality and immersing you to such a degree that you forget you're in a game and just do what you naturally would in real life. One moment I distinctly remember happened one of my first times playing The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. I was casually exploring the area looking for supplies to scavenge. I walked around the corner and I hear a faint growl. I quickly pull out my gun. As the sound gets closer and louder, I see the bastard and carefully aim for the head. Double tap and I miss both shots. Now I'm starting to panic. I have no bullets left and no other weapons on me. I look down and see a bottle. I pick it up without even thinking, smash it and use it to save myself. It was one of the most satisfying moments I've ever had in VR, and if any of you haven't tried the game yet, it's one of the best ones out there. VRC, thank you for having me, and guys, enjoy the video. Cheers.
Alright, thank you so much, the VR Man Cave, for submitting your clip, and I can definitely relate to that in terms of being terrified and not having any weapons, and your only choice is to break a bottle and stab it into a zombie's head. And that is probably one of the reasons why I love The Walking Dead so much. So again, thank you so much for submitting your clip. Let's move on to the next person. The next person on today's list is Fluffy Says. You may have known him for his reviews particularly how-to videos and how to set up side quests and things like that. He's a great content creator as well, but unfortunately he wasn't able to send me a video, but he was able to send me some sort of auditory format. Well, with that said, let's get right into the clip.
Hey VRC, I'm Fluffy Says, and I'm here to share with you guys my favorite moment while using VR. After a little bit of thinking, I very quickly figured out what my favorite moment is, and it has to be while playing walkabout mini golf with my parents, especially my mom. My mom does not hate video games per se, but does not play a whole lot of video games. And mini golf is something she has done and is a real thing she can relate to. So playing putt-putt in VR was an amazing experience, as she was actually enjoying herself inside of a video game, which allowed me to enjoy myself.
Alright, thank you so much, Fluffy Says, for submitting your clip, and I 100% agree. I remember the first time I put my parents into VR, specifically my mom, and having her play Pistol Whip for hours on end, Beat Saber for hours on end, and surprisingly, Dead and Buried 2 for hours on end. Even though she doesn't like multiplayer games, she still could play that game for hours and hours, and she absolutely loves Pistol Whip, Beat Saber, and Dead and Buried. So again, thank you, Fluffy, for submitting your clip. Let's move on to the next person, which is the one, the only.
Let's rob from downloadable content. Yeah, let's see. One of my favorite VR memories. Honestly, one of the first ones I can remember, it stands out so much. I was playing Skyrim VR, actually on PlayStation VR, unfortunately, but nonetheless, right in the beginning when you're sitting down, you know, you're just sitting there and I'm looking straight ahead. I had the VR headset on and, you know, the normal Skyrim stuff is playing. And what I remember is the guy next to me was talking and, you know, it's a picture, you're sitting there. The NPC next to me is talking and I turn over to him and he's like this close to my face. And all I remember was going like, ugh! So I just turned to my side and just freaked out. So that's just why I love VR gaming just in general. What's one of your favorite moments?
Alright, thank you so much for sending me your video. And what an interesting video. I don't think I've ever had somebody on today's list or the last episode discussing Skyrim VR. I have personally never tried or played any Skyrim before. Again, thank you DLC for sending me your video. Like everybody else on today's list, it was greatly appreciated and immensely helpful. With that said, let's move on to the next person on today's list, Mateo311. Now you probably have heard him in the VR space. He's pretty well known. Now this video is probably one of the most unique videos in the best way possible. It's a bit sad at points too. So now before we get into this clip, he's sitting at around 35,000 subscribers. He does have a X16 Behaptic Suit giveaway going on right now, which I'll have that linked in the description or the comments down below. But with that said, let's go right into this clip.
Hey, virtual reality check, what's going on, man? I know you want to hear about our favorite VR moments, and I have quite a few that I will rattle off, but I have one story that's really near and dear to my heart. So let's just jump into those quick ones. Like the first time you got into Half-Life Alyx and you saw the city and the Strider walked by. That is like a big wow moment. In the lab, when you see Gladys for the first time I went on Richie's plank experience and looked down or even brought my friends and family on the plank. Those are standout moments. Even the first time I fired up VR and you're just doing the Steam VR tutorial and your whole room starts transforming. These moments stand out so much. They were a huge deal to me, but the story that totally takes the cake is when I first got VR, I was the biggest VR enthusiast, and I was willing to put anyone who had a remote interest in VR. Like, I'm looking out the window, see the neighbors walk by, and I'm like, you have to experience VR. Come to my house right now. This is pretty much a true story. I'm only exaggerating a little bit, but I did put my dad in VR, my late dad. He was around 65 at the time, and he was never a technology guy and never into video games, but I put him into VR, and I just remember him walking around the room, and then he stops, and he's basically dumbfounded, slack jaw, and he just goes, Matt, where on earth did you get this? And he started to, describe VR like it was some amazing future tech. Like I went to the future, Star Trek style, stole this equipment and brought it back in time. He was so utterly impressed, and that's going to stay with me forever. And that's the experience that I basically had. Someone who's always played with technology, has always loved technology. That's the experience I had, but he, you know, he was completely blown away. And I think VR has the potential to do that for everyone. So that's my story. I hope you enjoyed it.
Alright, thank you so much, Mateo, for submitting your clip. And this is probably one of my favorite clips. You were able to kind of persuade somebody who wasn't a gamer and basically put them into awe because of a virtual reality. That in of itself is an amazing achievement. But go show Mateo some love and go subscribe to his channel, watch his videos, like his videos, do all the fun stuff. And let's move on to the next and last person. So the last contestant on today's list is, sadly, it's Bradley. Around 97,000 subscribers, which is a huge milestone, only 3K away from 100,000, and this guy has probably the most unique clip out of both episodes, and you'll see why in a minute here. But for those of you that don't know who Sadly It's Bradley is, Sadly It's Bradley is the guy that you want to go to for anything that is related to Steam, and he does unboxings and reviews and stuff like that. But this guy is the guy who gives you the latest and greatest news on leaked hardware or rumored hardware. So with that said, let's go right into his clip.
Hey VRC, thanks for giving me the chance to answer this question, this incredibly hard question. Why are you making me pick one? Do you know how many amazing, mind-blowing things I've had? Well, it's not your fault. Anyway, I'm gonna choose the most recent one. Full body tracking is something that really just took me to the next level of VR, I feel. VR is a giant rabbit hole. You go from 60 OF to finger tracking to haptics, and then full body tracking is probably the highest level of immersion. I remember the first time I put on these stupid things all over my body, I thought to myself, this is gonna be stupid. Why did I waste all this money on this stupid thing? Well, as soon as I put on the headset after I had all the trackers set up, and I loaded up VR chat, it all made sense to me. It made me see VR as what it really was. It isn't about the game, it's about the out-of-body experience. Or in this case, in-body experience. In someone else's body experience. And it blew my mind. I was even just laying down on my bed that I set up a mattress on my floor so I could lay in bed and see my virtual body in VR kick and lay down and kneel and teabag and all these amazing things, and it was one-to-one with my real-life body, and my brain couldn't tell the difference. Then later I got lip and mouth tracking and eye tracking, and oh my god. The rabbit hole is dangerous, everyone, but it's so amazing. But again, VR is a rabbit hole, and be very careful around this rabbit hole, because if you fall in that rabbit hole, you will end up like this.
Alright, thank you so much, Sadly It's Bradley. I think you had the most unique clip out of both episodes so far, and this is definitely one of the interesting ones. I've never tried full body tracking before, and it's something I may be interested in the future. As of right now, I can only take your word for it, and it seems amazing. It seems like it'd be extremely immersive. Now, with that said, let's move on to the last contestant, which is me. My favorite memory in VR has to be in one of the greatest VR games to date, which is Half-Life Alyx. Half-Life Alyx is an amazing game. Beginning to end, you will be completely immersed into the game, and I just remember spending hours on end just playing the game, completing 3 or 4 chapters each day. That's not my favorite part yet. My favorite part is the beginning, actually, when you go and you look over the balcony and you see the landscape, you see the big huge machine thing in the sky, the striders walking by. You can pick up anything and everything and throw it down, and just the view itself is enough to take somebody's breath away. It was graphically beautiful looking. Like, it was absolutely insane. If you guys did like the video, you know what to do. Subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, virtual reality, check yourself. Peace.